I mentioned this briefly this morning. You can now do remarketing via Google Analytics. There's two main options, mainly focus over here. Dimension and metric filter, which had you seen that about 24 hours ago, you would have gone, But you know all about dimensions and metrics now. So you can now build remarketing lists based on basically any metric or dimension that you can think of in your analytics account. What are the examples on the screen here? Revenue greater than 100, like the advanced segment that we built before. You can set that as a rule in analytics remarketing. You don't have to worry about it. It's the same piece of code, goes on every page of the site, dead easy to install. Then you drop into analytics and build this rule. Create a remarketing list. Let's call it 30 days for all the people that spent more than $100. I'm going to call that my whales, and I'm going to follow those people around with this ad. Here they've given an example of medium equals organic. So that actually means something to you now. Let's say medium equals Facebook. That's of more interest to me. Because in the past, the way I've done remarketing is based on the page they went to. Did they go to my shopping cart? Did they go to my thanks page? That's how we created those lists before. Now I'm saying I don't really care which page they go to, but if they came from Facebook, let's build a Facebook remarketing list and let's follow them around with this ad. If they came from Adwords, maybe they're a bit different. Follow them around with this. If they came from Pinterest, maybe they're a bit more visual. They want to see some of our latest stuff. Let's build a Pinterest remarketing list. Follow them around with this ad. You're starting to see how exciting this can get? This is massive, and this has been out about 2 months. There's a little change you need to make to your code. It's not arduous. It's one line in your Google Analytics code. There is a slight downside. Some ad blockers now block that piece of code because it's a double-click cookie. I'm not going to get all geeky on you, but it's probably worth testing. A couple of other options for you. Page depth, or the number of pages they visited. So before, we couldn't say, add someone to my remarketing list if they read 5 blog posts. Now you can, based on their location. So it's not just that they've been to the shopping cart page or thank you page or the About Us page. It's the fact that they're in Melbourne, regardless of the source of that traffic. So it's not just about AdWords traffic, it's all of your traffic sources. But I can build a list for my Melbourne people, and a list for my Sydney people, and a list for my Brisbane people. Because if I follow those people around with an ad that's more relevant to them, maybe it's got a picture of the Opera House on it, maybe it's got Sydney written across the ad, that's probably going to get me a higher click-through rate, better quality scores, lower costs, better conversion rates, better ROI. This ought to be blowing your mind, how powerful this is. Based on mobile, based on device potentially, based on online behavior. You mentioned product launches before. I'll do a super simplified example, but product launch. Typically, come in to my website and watch video 1. If they watch it, then remarket to them with an ad that says come back and watch video 2. If they click that ad, drop them back in on the site and watch video 2 and 3 and 4, because typically there's 3 or 4 videos in a launch sequence. I can tag these people all the way through. If they came to the page but didn't watch the video, so this might be, I know this is going to get confusing because I'm trying to do it on the fly, but yes, they watched the video, drop them on this remarketing list. No, they didn't. Drop them on a different remarketing list and show them a different ad that's trying to drive them back to take the next action in the sequence. I've just lost 90% of you, am I? If you're info marketing and you're doing product launches, let's have a chat because that gets really, really funky. The job of remarketing really, let me explain it a better way. The trick is to advertise the next step that you want them to take without referring to what you know they've already done. You don't say, we want you back to our website, we miss you. That's creepy. You know they've watched video 1. You don't have to tell them that you know they've watched video 1. You put an ad in front of them to say, watch video 2, it's really cool. You know they've added the product to the shopping cart. You know they've left without buying. You don't run around after them and go, we know you added the shopping cart thing, but just please come back. You just show them an ad. Maybe it's a branded ad. Yeah, maybe it's an ad for the product that they almost bought. You know, sometimes that works, sometimes that's a bit creepy.